Uchiha Madara and Hashirama team up for ultimate battlefield domination. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 51, Suban leads the way. Slaughter the C-Class Beast Race. Foreign Hemp. Hearing the short and tight nonsense, the Dragon Kingdom audience was very upset. Good fellow, this short and tight remark is really thunderous. What a great saint you are. When other developed countries bully weak and small countries, you don't speak for them, but at this time, it is good to accuse us of the Dragon Country. The three views are really crooked to the foreigner's side. Others take the initiative to attack us, is it not right for us to fight back? Now other countries are plotting how to deal with us, but you should persuade them and criticize what they have done. Old double standard. When did we Dragon Country players take the initiative to provoke others? Aren't all others taking the initiative to provoke us, and can't see the rise of our Dragon Kingdom? If people don't provoke me, I don't provoke people, and if people provoke me to pay me back 100 times, this is the way our Dragon Kingdom behaves in the world. At this time, netizens will be short and tight, scolding dog, bloody head. Seeing the criticism of these netizens on themselves, it is also very unpleasant to be short and tight, but he could only continue to immerse himself in his own world, continue to talk, and degrade the Dragon Kingdom to nothing in all aspects. He even thought with great joy in his heart, as long as you can fool some fools and at the same time use this to kneel and lick Westerners such as Lighthouse Country and John Cow Country, it is already a very good achievement. As for what the Dragon Kingdom people think of me, what is there to care about? At this moment, the fishing wheel environment can be said to be a mixture of fish and dragons. Just when the crowd kept talking. In the national embargo, Suban took the lead and, with his own perceptual ability, began to look for powerful beasts nearby. Bayuekue followed behind Suban, and at first he was a little struggling. Even if she has been genetically modified, she has long been not an ordinary human, and at this time, there is a huge gap with Suban's physical fitness. He still had to use his full strength to not be left far behind by Suban. Suban's face was still calm, as if he was strolling idly, and he didn't need to expend much physical strength at all. Bayuekue, on the other hand, could only try to catch up with a grudge. That's it. Suban and Bayuekue rushed for a while. A voice in the Dragon Country live broadcast room only interrupted the quarrel of countless people. National embargo tips. Dragon Kingdom players have been detected encountering a sea-level beast horde. This is a group of 112 C-Class fierce beast dragon blood lizards. Dragon blood lizard, a lizard flowing with a thin dragon blood, with a golden appearance and a body length of about 10 meters. Very proud of your race. In a state of rage, you will continue to chase after your enemies until you kill them. After hearing these words, the Dragon Kingdom audience was shocked. Here it comes. Finally came, at the beginning it was a sea-level fierce beast, and it was still more than 100, much more powerful than the 20 C-Class beasts of the Gallic Chicken Nation. Although our previous Uzumaki didn't pay attention to them when they faced the D-level fierce beasts, it was much more difficult to change to the C-level fierce beasts. Haha. I still believe in our Dragon Country players. I'll bet I'll end the fight in 10 minutes, now. The audience of the Dragon Kingdom looked at the picture with excitement, looking forward to Suban's next Super God performance. However, the next thing that surprised the audience was, when looking at this dragon blood lizard population, Suban's eyes did not show any fear. Not even at all. The dragon blood lizards, on the other hand, were in a commotion, emitting one low roar after another. Roar, roar, roar. They all stuck out their tongues, dripping dirty saliva, and their eyes were salivating. Just when the fierce beasts saw Suban running in front of them at great speed, preparing to deal with Suban's attack, they were shocked to find Suban directly passed by them, did not look at them, and continued to run forward. As if when they didn't exist. Dragon blood lizard, ? This also made the dragon blood lizards have the illusion that the Su spot really existed? Suban's operation could not even destroy these sea-level fierce beasts. They even looked at each other in confusion to confirm if they had just been hallucinating. Are these humans simply unable to see them? If human beings think they are strong, are not afraid of them, and fight with them directly, it is not surprising. If human beings are very afraid of them and just turn around and run, it is also very normal. But without even looking at them, what kind of trouble would it be if they rushed directly from their fierce beasts? Haven't waited too long for them to be confused. Another person appeared before their eyes. White Moon K. After feeling the powerful aura of these fierce beasts, Bayuekue was actually very speechless. If you want to say that these fierce beasts are powerful, they are not very powerful. Suban should not be afraid to fight. She could only ask Suban loudly, Suban, where are you going? Won't you deal with these beasts? It should be easy to beat them, don't you want to get a little more points? Suban's voice came from the front. They are too weak and small, they are not worth my shot at all, and there is a more powerful breath ahead. If you are interested, someone like you can do it. After hearing Suban's words, Bayuekue was almost stunned. She had heard a lot of sarcastic words, but she had never heard such a mockery. When these sea-level beasts heard this, they all fainted in tears. Wrong. This is not only mocking the C-class fierce beast, but also mocking me along the way, right? Scold 2 in 1? Bayuke suddenly felt very speechless again. Suban's mouth, sure enough, was still as damaged as ever. Although he felt that he had let go of the points of these sea-level fierce beasts, Bayuekue felt a bit of a pity. However, she was also afraid that in the process of dealing with these sea-level fierce beasts, she would lose Suban. Therefore, Bayuekue continued to ignore these fierce beasts and set off. But when passing by a certain fierce beast, she did not want to miss the opportunity and directly swung a knife. A knife, by the way. This dragon blood lizard was also furious when he saw that Bayuekue was still coming, and immediately pounced on it and issued a fatal blow. But Bayuekue's figure had already flashed by, completing his own slash. Sonorous. The dragon blood lizard had a look of disbelief on his face, as if he hadn't figured out what was happening. It only knows that its own consciousness quickly disappears. Even Bayuekue's own knife could not be caught with the naked eye. The next moment, after Bayuekue's figure left the dragon blood lizard, its head suddenly split in two, and blood immediately spurted everywhere. Burst. And Bayuekue didn't even get a drop of blood. This shows how amazing her swing speed and movement speed are. At this time, the broadcast of the national embargoed land sounded. Congratulations to Dragon Country player Bayuekue for successfully slaying the sea-level creature dragon blood lizard. Dragon Kingdom rewards 3 times 3,000 points, a total of 9,000 points. After killing the sea-level beast, she didn't stop for a second and continued to run forward. And when passing by the next sea-level fierce beast, Bayuekue swung away with the same knife. A palpitating white glow rose from the blade. Elegant and calm. The clouds are light and the wind is light. The next moment. Burst. Another dragon blood lizard splashed blood on the spot, directly killing. Bayuekue was still as usual, and did not stay for a moment. Even in the process of swinging the sword, her gaze did not turn to the dragon blood lizard that had been killed next to her, and she still looked at the Suban of Qianwan. It's like no one is around, but I just happened to be passing by here. At this time, the broadcast sound of the national embargoed land sounded again. Congratulations to Dragon Nation player Bayuekue for successfully killing the sea-level creature dragon blood lizard again. Dragon Kingdom once again awards 9,000 points. At this time, after being slaughtered 2 dragon blood lizards in succession, these fierce beasts finally reacted. After seeing Bayuekue's move, they were also furious. It seems that these humans are indeed their enemies. Suban and Bayuekue must be made to pay the price. They rushed over, opening their blood basins and mouths, and the fangs in their mouths were clearly visible. The sound of countless dragon blood lizards stepping on the ground overlapped, and the sound was huge and extremely frightening. Although they look very large and bulky, their crawling speed is extremely amazing. The claws on the feet were about half a meter long, flashing with silver light, and the chill forced people to fall down. There was no need for Bayuekue to specifically go to find these fierce beasts, and the fierce beasts hundreds of meters away had followed them. It solved the problem of how she gathered monsters. So the next brush score is a lot easier. Suban continued to take the lead, skimming through the dragon blood lizard before it could be encircled. Even if he encountered a dragon blood lizard that was close at hand, Suban did not shoot to kill, although this is only a breeze for Suban. However, Suban wanted to let Bayuekue behind him perform. After all, killing a fierce beast, in addition to the reward of points in the country where it is located, the players themselves will also get a certain increase in attribute points. It's not bad to let Bayuekue add a little more. In the future, when she encounters a powerful beast, she can only follow behind her back and pray for protection. In that case, he would have to take care of his hands and feet when he started a fight, so that he would feel really bored. With such a small increase in attribute points, for Suban, it is better to increase his own playing process by 3.3 degrees. Bayuekue behind him gained a lot because of this. The sound of the national embargo seemed to have not stopped at all. Congratulations to Dragon Country player Bayuekue for successfully slaying the sea-level creature dragon blood lizard. Dragon Country rewards 9,000 points. Just a second later, Bayuekue successfully killed the sea-level creature dragon blood lizard. Dragon Country rewards 9,000 points. Bayuekue also scored countless points very smoothly. Just for a moment, because of the points challenge and the additional rewards of the ferocious beast rage area, The points she has now earned can already be regarded as the highest in the National Forbidden Land. Listen to this series of broadcasts. Players and spectators from countless countries were numb. Damn, did the Dragon Kingdom break into the beast pile this time? So many fierce beasts were killed so quickly, and the interval was so short. Isn't it Suban's performance now? Even this White Moon Kuei could burst out with such amazing strength, a sea-level fierce beast with one sword. Oh my god! Are the Dragon Kingdom players hanging again? How exactly did they do it? I don't believe it at all. After I came to the national transport embargo, it was very difficult to fight a D-level fierce beast. Countless foreigners, especially those who can't see the scene of Bayue Kuei, are completely suspicious of life. Episode 52. It is difficult to master if you want to step on the body of an ant without stepping on the force of breaking it. In the face of the Dragon Country players' brushing moves, foreigners are bitter. Shouldn't the Dragon Nation player be a card bug? Or is there a bug in the national embargo? Why is it that the kill message is playing all the time, and there is no sign of stopping at all? Sometimes the interval is less than 1 second? How is this possible? Countless foreigners, especially those who can't see the scene of Bayue Kuei, are completely suspicious of life. Who are they struggling with? How can it all be like the gods of the Forbidden Land? Did the Dragon Kingdom directly buy the national transport embargo? Now, in the face of this continuous national embargo prompt, the audience of the Dragon Country was not surprised, and it was quite calm. Dear foreign friends, don't get excited. It's all routine operation. If you are surprised, what will you do in the future? We Dragon Blood players, that's just so unreasonable. Maybe the difference between the current C-class beasts, D-level beasts, and E-level beasts for our players is just the name. It's all a one-knife solution, and the speed of their death may only be related to their distance from the Dragon Kingdom players, haha. After hearing the rich harvest of Dragon Country players, countless foreign players were red-eyed. No, they have to keep working hard. Hurry up and kill more beasts. You must cherish this double reward of points, and even take the initiative to go to the area where the beast is raging to get the excess reward. There are also huge divisions within the Europa League, especially those that are still relatively powerful, and they are disgusted that other backward countries are dragging their feet. You are walking too slowly. We John Cow people are one step ahead, otherwise, we don't know when we will be able to meet the next batch of fierce beasts. Whoever wants to come up with a premium item, exchange these C-class beasts and ice warhorses with us. Don't exchange garbage, we don't want to give alms to beggars. If there is no one, we will be one step ahead, and we Gallic chickens are so strong in the army, of course we must play the role of a stormtrooper. Let's first sweep away all the fierce beasts in front of us. Oh, when is it? Dare to claim to be the strongest army, or let us Germans go up. We have motorcycles that are awarded by the national embargo, and we are also one step ahead. If you walk slowly, just walk slowly. At this time, because there was no terrible danger like the B-level fierce beasts just now, they quickly dispersed. The alliance, which was already very loose, was extremely loose at this time. See the scene of the scattered hearts of the Europa League, and then compare the scene of the Dragon Nation players. At this time, the Dragon Kingdom can once again make a big splash on major network platforms. Some people even ran to the short and tight live broadcast room to continue to leave messages. Oh, the Europa League you blow is nothing more than that. Aren't they just as conflicted and dislike each other? Why don't you talk and don't go blackening the Europa League? Before said that the Dragon Kingdom players are arrogant, well. These garbage beasts, it seems that they are really not arrogant. It's better than your Europa League confidently dealing with Class B beasts, and being killed several times. Seeing the expression of eating on this face of the short and tight, everyone was very happy. He began to tout Suban and the others from a different angle, and continued to be disgusted and tight. Look at the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room, I'll see how you want to black and White Moon Kuei and others now. Doesn't it say they're not centralized and have no teamwork? I'm sorry. To them, a person seems to be a little bit more. I've thought of a brainless reason for you, Spicy Chicken Dragon Country player. Not even fighting such a well-brushed monster is really a waste of score. Black we Dragon Country people just love to waste things. It is really a violent thing, and when we don't have to brush it in the future, we will definitely regret it. Short and tight. Hear those words. Short and tight himself is a bit dumbfounded, and he doesn't know if he really wants to follow up with such a relaxed 100 heads of more than 9,000 points. Dragon Country players turned out. Ignore it. Does that make sense? Although it is very similar to being in the Black Dragon Kingdom, the more you listen to it, the more it seems to be touting the Dragon Kingdom. How did it get dark? This is a premium blow bar. Saying it will only make the people of the Dragon Kingdom happy, right? Dwarf Tight once again began to advertise. It really makes me feel bad, it's not talking. I feel like I've been punched in the face again and again today, and I'm so annoyed. On the screen, Byakuya and Suban were still rapidly passing through this sea-level fierce beast group. Later, as more and more dragon blood lizards were killed, other dragon blood lizards scattered in all directions began to surround them in anger. The dragon blood lizards that stopped in front of Suban were also increasing. Of course, Suban was not afraid at all. When two dragon blood lizards appeared in front of them, they also directly waved the death scythe in their hands and made a 360-degree slash. Swish! The light of the sword is like a full moon, dazzling. Both dragon blood lizards had their front legs cut off, roared, and fell heavily to the ground. Bang! Followed by Suban's voice continued to sound, Byakuya, these two dragon blood lizards will be handed over to you, Byakuya. Byakuya is not a fool, of course, it can be seen. Suban had been deliberately releasing water before, giving himself the opportunity to kill the sea-level fierce beast, in order to get rewards and strengthen his own strength. Before Byakuya, when he first came to the national transport embargo, it was quite difficult to deal with a sea-level fierce beast. It is also after strengthening itself and getting multiple attribute boost point rewards that it can become so powerful. At this time it is also a good thing to continue to let her strengthen. But this deliberate act of releasing water made Byakuya feel a little uncomfortable in his heart, and now Suban is directly responsible for injuring the fierce beast and allowing himself to collect the head. This is to feed the rice directly into your own mouth. I always feel that this is very unpleasant. Do you really think you are a weak woman with no power to tie your hands? However, Byakuya is not a small person, so for the dragon blood lizard sent to the door, it is not good to directly do not want it. She could only bite Sakura's lip tightly, and the look in her eyes was even more determined. You can only motivate yourself to become stronger quickly and prove your strength to Suban. Swish! Swish! Congratulations to Dragon Country player Byakuya for successfully slaying the sea-level creature Dragon Blood Lizard. Dragon Kingdom continues to reward 9,000 points. Congratulations to Dragon Country player Byakuya for successfully slaying the sea-level creature Dragon Blood Lizard. Dragon Kingdom once again earned 9,000 points. After seeing this scene, the audience of the Dragon Kingdom was once again amazed. Sleeper. Suban actually sent the lamb to be slaughtered to the hands of Miss Byakuya. So sweet, so reliable. Such a man really can't find any shortcomings. So many rewards don't want, if only my boyfriend were so concerned about me. Haha. Let Dwarf Daki see this scene and see how dark he is. The so-called chivalry of foreigners is nothing compared with our Suban big guy. Suban gangster, this is cold on the outside and hot on the inside. In fact, he still takes good care of the weak. It's just that the mouth is a little poisoned, haha. After seeing such a scene, foreigners are also dumbfounded. Boy. This Dragon Kingdom player has reached the point where sea-level fierce beasts are too lazy to hunt. When you have the opportunity to kill, you even give it to your companions. Why is the gap between people so big? Among foreign players, even within the same team, it is good not to exclude each other, and it is possible to give away the rewards. The hearts of these foreign audiences are also full of mixed tastes. Although Suban is the enemy of their country, I have to admit that a man like Suban is really handsome. The scene in the picture continues to play. Byakuya and Suban were already about to leave the encirclement of this dragon blood lizard. And the so-called encirclement, in a way, may just be the cue of dragon blood lizards to die. If it weren't for the ferocious beast raging area of the national transport embargo, these dragon blood lizards might not have been so stupid and continue to challenge Suban and others. With the constant help of Suban, Byakuya continued to kill one dragon blood lizard after another. Seeing that there were only 2 dragon blood lizards left in front of him, Suban thought in his heart, this sea-level fierce beast population was over. At a short distance, there should be a more advanced breed of ferocious beasts. At least it's a B-class start. When the time comes, it will be the time to show your skills. And in the next moment, facing the last 2 dragon blood lizards, Suban also habitually swung out the death god scythe, ready to seriously injure it. However, these 2 dragon blood lizards seemed to be prepared after seeing the death of their companions, and they all dodged and dodged, making Suban's cold weapons unable to reach. Seeing this scene, Suban was not so surprised. No matter how weak the beast, it is true that they have a minimum learning ability. Suban also did not directly let go of the 2 sea-level fierce beasts. Hundreds of meters away from the dragon's blood lizard, Suban may not have bothered to run over and kill. However, with such a close dragon's blood lizard, he didn't have to let it go. So Suban directly waved the 2 weapons in his hand and got out of his hand. Flame ball fan. Death scythe. Whoosh. These two weapons were used as boomerangs by Suban, and they didn't look at them directly, and they were thrown at the two sea-level fierce beasts that were already behind them. Sonorous. Swish. Suban's flame ball slammed into the back of the head of a dragon blood lizard, smashing it into the air for hundreds of meters, plowing out a deep ravine. Boom. Its corpse even blocked the way for Bayuekue to pass. As for the other dragon blood lizard, it was slashed in the head by Suban's death god scythe, and the blood spurted wildly. Followed by. Almost at the same time, two sounds suddenly resounded throughout the battlefield. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing the C-class creature Dragon Blood Lizard. Dragon Kingdom once again earned 9,000 points. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing the C-class creature Dragon Blood Lizard. Dragon Kingdom once again earned 9,000 points. Suban didn't look back, so he reached out his hand with great accuracy and caught the swirling flame fan and the death god scythe. After hearing that he had killed two dragon blood lizards, he simply said, "Oh. I was really sorry that I didn't leave my hand for miss by to kill." If you want to step on the body of an ant without stepping on it, the strength is also difficult to master. Bayuekue. Dragon blood lizard. It's hurtful and insulting. Episode 53 Dragon Kingdom Domination List. Class A Beasts. Suban is excited. Now. Hearing Suban's understated and solemn remarks, coupled with Suban's unremarkable way of killing the beast as if he were shooting a dead mosquito, the shocking effect can be described as directly pulling full. The Dragon Kingdom audience once again climaxed in mass. Kneel. Suban can always make such a great move, although I know that Suban is very powerful, but it is so powerful that it still makes me stunned. From the beginning to the end, never stop the pace, kill a monster is a second kill behind your back, and you can also recover weapons. What a heifer riding a pole. With lightning, in addition to Suban's record, Suban's remarks are also talked about. Suban's words are also extremely crazy. Never seen such crazy remarks. I'm really sorry, I want to step on the ant without stepping on it, but the strength is very difficult to master. Recite it to me, no matter how weak the beast, it also has a minimum learning ability. Laugh me to death, to say the praise so ironically, he is really a talent. Not the ultimate strong person who says such a thing will only be ridiculed for the second, but Suban's words, everything is so natural. Haha, and kill a monster and apologize to Miss Bayuekue, who is already speechless. Miss Bayuekue wants to sing a sentence, listen to me say thank you, because of you, warm up the 4 seasons of the seasons. On the screen. Bayuekue's remarks to Suban were indeed powerless to complain. Even if you stay with Suban for such a long time, you will still be broken by Suban again and again. Accidentally kill a monster and forget it. And apologize to me. Do I really care so much? I thank you for not being able to do it yet. This heart-wrenching Suban is truly abominable. After seeing me, you must behave well and let you see my strength. As a scientist, Bayuekue's body has been modified to possess extremely powerful powers. However, her strength comes at a price, at the cost of consuming her own life force. Therefore, for the strength of his own full explosion, Bayuekue was still quite confident and at this time. After killing so many sea-level beasts, Bayuekue can still get reinforcement again, which will be an important force to promote her evolution again. Inside the Dragon Country live broadcast room, there were also corresponding broadcasts. Congratulations to Dragon Country player Bayuekue, who successfully killed 28 sea-level beasts and gained a strength attribute bonus of 600 points and a speed attribute bonus of 900 points. At the same time, because the player Bayuekue bound the Dragon Kingdom national fortune, he gave back a 60-point bonus to the Dragon Kingdom's national strength and a 90-point increase in speed. Only those who have the nationality of the Dragon Kingdom and approve of everything in the Dragon Kingdom from the bottom of their hearts can obtain it. Now. Countless mysterious and ancient energy light waves condensed from these dead dragon blood lizards, and then quickly chased after the white moon Kue in front of them. Yikes. Bayuekue's body was quickly fused with a large amount of Forbidden Land power. Killing fierce beasts is indeed the fastest way to grow in the national Forbidden Land. Bayuekue couldn't help but show a touching smile. Bayuekue, who had increased his speed so much, felt that everything in the world seemed to be much slower, as if he had the ability to press the pause button. And she felt her strength soar in an instant. I believe that this will definitely be of great help to her later battles. In the real world. Seeing Bayuekue's bright and moving smile, countless people had their eyes shining. Miss Bayuekue smiled, it's really so beautiful and sassy, I feel like I'm going to melt myself. Miss Bayuekue must be smiling at me, I'm in love again. Don't be delusional, the little sister is clearly smiling at me. Let me say something heartfelt, Miss Bayuekue is clearly looking at Suban and smiling. Miss Bayuekue looked at Suban's expression at this time, it really seemed like she loved and hated it, haha. As they spoke, the crowd began to bump CP again. Shouldn't Bayuekue develop to a very awkward level like the relationship between Zhujian and Suban? I think it is possible, after all, normal people, accompanied by Suban, must be in a state of extremely high blood pressure at all times. White Moon Kue Stock Sword. Woohoo! The victory of the Spotted White Party. The Spotted Pillar stock is still in the doldrums at this time, and it is urgent to have a new round of timing. I don't know when Suban and Zhujian will meet again? Or don't meet so soon, otherwise, it will definitely be another time for Mars to hit the Earth. Now. The discussion of Suban and others by the people of Longhua was extremely lively. As for the other side, the live broadcast room between the columns and the door is still relatively calm. They were still on their way, and they didn't encounter any fierce beasts. Therefore, most of the audience switched to the perspective of Bayuekue and Suban. Hearing Bayuekue's big splash, the pillar was still a little confused at first, so he muttered to himself, it was actually Bayuekue's killing? So many C-class fierce beast dragon blood lizards? Did she act alone? If no one had taken Bayuekue with her, would she have an accident? However, later, after hearing that Suban had also killed 2 dragon blood lizards, Akima immediately said, it seems that Ban still acts with Bayuekue, but the main one killed is Bayuekue, which is a bit strange. Hear the words between the pillars. Guessed something right away. Spotted this guy, do you really think I can't guess? He must have deliberately helped, and gave up all the killings to Bayuekue, right? Otherwise, how could so few be killed? If he really wanted to kill, no matter how many sea-level fierce beasts, it would not be enough for him to have fun. He said wordlessly, Big brother, you are rarely so smart. I didn't even expect this layer of. Pillar Jian was also very proud, of course, things related to spots, my IQ will explode like never before. No one knows better than I do. Title. Seeing the dialogue between the pillars and the doors, the Dragon Kingdom audience once again blossomed with joy. Those who know my spots, sure enough, there are only the pillars. Suban's little bit of careful thinking was pinched to death by the pillars. Even if it is, no matter how clever the door is, it is not as smart as the pillar in this regard, haha. Pillar Jian must be very jealous at this time, even I can't get such treatment as Suban. What does Bayuekue rely on, at a time when everyone is talking about it? Suban also received certain rewards. Starting settlement. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing 2 sea-level fierce beasts and gaining a strength attribute bonus of 30 points and a pupil attribute bonus of 90 points. At the same time, because the player Suban bound the Dragon Kingdom national fortune, he gave back to the Dragon Kingdom's national strength bonus of 3 points, and the speed increased by 9 points. Furthermore, there is also a reward that only Suban can perceive. That's the improvement of his playing degree. After only a short while of hurrying, passing a group of sea-level fierce beasts, and killing some sea-level fierce beasts along the way, Suban's Uchiha Band's degree of play has increased from 45% to 50%. This increased the strength of Suban, which was indeed far better than the killing reward of 10 or even 100 sea-level fierce beasts. He was very happy with it. He felt that he should be able to upgrade his eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye in just a few moments. And promote to reincarnation eye. The eye of the 6 immortals level gods. This will make Suban's combat power go to a higher level. And at this time, after summarizing all the people in other countries combined, they could not match the points earned by their Dragon Nation. At present, Dragon Country is ranked first in the national game standings, with a total of 319,000 points. John Cow Country ranked second, with a total of 8,000 points. The points challenge is still in progress. I hope that other countries will cherish the opportunity of double rewards, continue to cheer up, and strive to catch up. It is said that the people of the Dragon Kingdom are even more proud. 1, 10, white, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, sleeper. Cow beep. It took me some calculations to figure out what our points of integration were at this point. Not much, anyway, there are more fractions of fractions than John Cow Country. Normal operation, just calm down. Such a little achievement, I am embarrassed to go out and praise our Dragon Kingdom. People from other countries must cheer up, otherwise, our Suban and others will be very bored. Foreigner. In the face of the proud record of the Dragon Kingdom at this time, the other black children were dumbfounded. How does this Nyama chase it? The bonus of the ferocious beast Fury region, a sea-level beast with one knife. How can people in other countries compare? Cheat. It must be cheating. Dragon Country players, this is all directly open modifier. Flat A has reached the level of big moves of other national players, right? People who don't know, think it's a knife Superman. Every time the Dragon Kingdom players slaughtered the fierce beast, it was so suspenseless, it was really ashamed of themselves. At this time, the foreign players and spectators were desperate. Such a long distance, really have to fight to catch up, in order to barely fall behind so much. Alas. Set a small point goal. At least it has to surpass the fraction of the Dragon Kingdom. So at the moment, the people of the Europa League, the Sakura Nation, and the Lighthouse Nation were either swearing or silent. Then continued to desperately search for the beast, in order to try to make up for your own gap and become stronger. They must continue to get stronger and continue to score more points than the Dragon Kingdom. After that, Bayuekue and Suban and others quickly passed by this sea-level fierce beast group. Seeing that there were still a few sea-level fierce beasts chasing behind him, although Bayuekue felt a little pity, it was not easy to stop, so as not to follow Suban himself. And so they went on running. After a while, Suban suddenly stopped. Pupils constrict, eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eyes turn rapidly. Suban already felt a hint of breath. Not bad. Finally, there is a battle that can be expected a little. Suban was slightly excited at this time. I hope it can be compared to the thrill of the previous battle between the pillars. Bayuekue saw that Suban had finally stopped, and he was barely relieved. After running for so long, she also felt a little tired. Before she could ask Suban why she had stopped, the national transport embargo had already begun to answer the lungs. National embargo tips. Dragon Kingdom players have been detected encountering a mixed horde of fierce beasts. This is a group of 59 B-class pole eaters and 3 A-class pole eaters. Now, after hearing about this strongest beast camp ever, the whole world is boiling. Episode 54 Tyrannical B-class fierce beast. Bayuekue uses the Suban style to force the Dafa. Upon hearing this information, the audience was amazed. This pole eater beast is really amazing. There are so many species, and even A-class fierce beasts. Is this the powerful aura that Suban perceives? Isn't it too powerful? This is not the previous sea-level fierce beast group. In front of other countries, it can be regarded as a big boss, B-level fierce beast, and it actually forms a community. It's horrible, it took so much effort for the Europa Alliance to kill a B-class fierce beast, 10,000 snakes, we all faced 59, and 3 A-level fierce beasts. Such a powerful beast, it will all gather together. It's like seeing dozens of Siberian tigers at the same time. Suban, are they really alright? At this time, foreign audiences also set their sights on the Dragon Country live broadcast room. The number of spectators in the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room suddenly soared to 3 billion people, and even continued to rise. If it were not for the existence of the mysterious will, it is estimated that the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room would have exploded long ago. Everyone was curious to know how to deal with such a terrible A-level fierce beast, the Dragon Kingdom players. Meanwhile, the Dragon Kingdom black spots also quickly began to act. You've all already encountered a Class A beast. Then you will surely die. We in the Europa League have to face B-class beasts before, we have to work so hard. Don't think that you are a level stronger, you can easily cope with it, this is definitely not comparable to the sea-level fierce beasts. It's like the difference between a child and an adult, it's not the same realm at all, and we in the Europa League have suffered a big loss before. The A-class fierce beast that was sleeping before killed a person in the Kangaroo Country in an instant, and the Kangaroo Country can be said to have no resistance at all. Yes, no matter how strong you are, in the face of so many fierce beasts, can you still calmly cope? Even if a lion is defeated in the face of a group of hyena attacks, you are still too arrogant. At this time, foreign audiences were very unoptimistic about the battle of Suban and others. Even if Suban and others could solve the sea-level fierce beast before, what about it? But this is a B-class beast, plus an even more terrifying A-level beast. This is the power of another dimension. And it's in the ferocious beast rampage area. Even if a single body can't beat Suban and others, it will consume them to death. The Dragon Nation players are waiting to perish. At this time, the Battle of the National Fortunes program. Bing Bing and other hosts are also very worried about watching the battle of Suban and others. Bing Bing began to ask questions of the other guests. Everyone says that Bayuekue and Suban can cope with such a terrifying group of fierce beasts. This is definitely the highest level of battle ever in the National Forbidden Land. Special Soldier Wang Yanbaishan began to seriously ponder about this. This is really difficult to say. After all, Su Ban, Zhu Jian, Wu Jian, and Baiyu Kuei are always beyond our imagination again and again. The first time we encountered the D-class beasts, we were very worried about them, but they finally settled down. Later, the sea-level fierce beast Xian Frost Python, Baiyu Kuei easily solved. And after the White Elephant Kingdom player plus the B-level fierce beast Dream Taper, Su Ban is also very easy to solve. So we should still give them full confidence. Dragon Country players are definitely people who can continue to create miracles. After hearing these words, the audience of the Dragon Kingdom was cheering desperately. Even if everyone is worried about Su Ban and others at this time, they can only silently support Su Ban behind their backs. After all, Su Ban and others have broken everyone's conventional understanding again and again. Maybe this time it will be successful? Even if you can't fight, don't you still have a chance to escape? Zhang Zhaozhong, who was in a state of flux, began to analyze rationally. If we deal with B-level fierce beasts, our strength should be no problem. If you need a knife to deal with a C-level fierce beast, the B-level fierce beast may be only 10 swords at most, and it may not be so much. When Su Ban dealt with the Dream Taper of the White Elephant Kingdom player before, the fire-breathing trick he used was very powerful. The question is, how long can he use the fire-breathing limbs? Moreover, this A-level fierce beast is the closest to the S-level fierce beast, and all of our players are in the novice village of the National Forbidden Land, which should be almost the ceiling. Will the A-level fierce beast produce an unimaginable super leap compared to the B-level fierce beast? Sometimes, the difference in realms may not be compensated by the number of them. After Zhang Zhaozhong raised the question, the people of Longguo were inevitably a little worried. Before the Europa Alliance, there were also many countries that had defeated C-level fierce beasts, so when facing B-level fierce beasts, it would be inappropriate. As a result, he was punched in the face. Even if the Gull Chicken country people used the C-level fierce beast Ice and Snow War Horse, 2 dead, plus the attack of so many people, to be defeated, at this time, Su Ban, obviously must be far beyond the realm of the C-level fierce beast, and when facing the B-level fierce beast, it is also easy to deal with. But what about the higher level A-level beasts? Moreover, is it still a class of fierce beast that has been blessed by madness in the ferocious beast rage area? That's all really hard to say. Therefore, at this time, the Dragon Kingdom people, although they all supported Su Ban and others in the major comment areas, were full of confidence in their own players. But it is inevitable that there will be uneasy thoughts in the mind. The actual performance of Su Ban and others must be known only after fighting. On the screen, Su Ban looked at the fierce beast in front of him and said lightly, "It seems to be a little interesting, so I will move a little." Just when Su Ban had just taken a step, Baiyu Kuei suddenly took a step ahead. "Su Ban, let me deal with it first. I'm very familiar with this pole eater." When Su Ban heard this, he looked up and down at Baiyu Kuei. Seeing that Baiyu Kuei did not look like a fake, he also agreed to her request, "Then let you test the intelligence. Let me see how much force is needed to deal with these beasts." Of course, if you can't fight, hurry down, don't brace yourself, Su Ban thought to himself. If Baiyu Kuei could deal with these B-level fierce beasts, he wouldn't need to take a shot at all. Let her grow up slowly, so as not to continue to drag her feet in the future. As for the A-level fierce beast that she might not be able to defeat, then leave it to herself. Baiyu Kuei. Who do you look down on? To deal with these B-level fierce beasts, you don't need to brace yourself, right? Never mind. Anyway, I got used to Su Ban's way of speaking, and it was good to ignore it. Next. It's time to show your skills. After glaring at Su Ban with a look of disgust on his face, Baiyu Kuei looked at the fierce beast, and his body exploded. The Tang Dao in his hand was bright and bright, like a meteor crossing the sky, dazzling. Colorful. In the eyes of a pole-eater beast, Baiyu Kuei quickly entered. Roar. One of the pole-eaters closest to Baiyu Kuei roared angrily and collided head-on. Sonorous. With a sound of gold and iron, Baiyu Kuei's Tang Dao defeated Ge and easily cut through the limbs of the pole-eater, causing its green blood to gush out. At this time, Baiyu Kuei was a rare slight shock, and immediately withdrew and twisted himself to avoid the blood of the pole-eater. After all, such a dirty thing, Baiyu Kuei didn't want to get involved. Subsequently, Baiyu Kuei couldn't help but mutter, "I really didn't expect that this so-called B-class fierce beast was not as strong as I thought, causing me to overexert." The reason why Baiyu Kuei was surprised was naturally because the increase in physical attributes just now made her strength increase by leaps and bounds. The Forbidden Land power contained in so many sea-level fierce beasts was still very terrifying. Let Bayuekue, whose strength is already extremely strong, is even more icing on the cake. After seeing Bayuekue's appearance, the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room was also in an uproar. Haha, this B-level fierce beast is indeed vulnerable. For Miss Bayuekue, it may be that its disgusting physical and psychological damage is stronger than its actual combat effectiveness. Haha, has Miss Bayuekue also learned Suban's way of speaking? Inadvertently, it is directly beeped. This B-level beast is definitely going to be furious. Damn, it made her pretend. At this time, Miss Bayuekue should have been strengthened before, and she was suddenly unable to adapt to her powerful strength, so that she was shocked by the weakness of the B-level fierce beast. Haha. Everyone else was frightened by the fierce beast and fled, and our Dragon Kingdom players were shocked by the enemy's weakness. At this time, the foreigners were envious and jealous in their hearts. Why can the Dragon Kingdom people be so strong? They were already very strong, but after the increase in physical attributes, they were even stronger. It's just one step stronger, step by step stronger. Dragon Country players have formed a virtuous circle. If they continue to grow, players from other countries will be far from being able to compare. The screen continues to play. After being seriously injured by Bayuekue, the Pole Eater became angry, and his pupils shone with a flame-like light. He continued to pounce on it, trying to tear Bayuekue to pieces. After the picture is closer, everyone can clearly see the appearance of this Pole Eater, which is a black Pole Eater with a length of about 8 meters and 6 feet, like a lizard. Wrapped in inky black scales all over his body, he looked extremely strong. If ordinary people's weapons collide with it, they will absolutely break. However, Bayuekue's words were naturally not in the category of these mortals. Bayuekue's figure flashed and directly reached the blind spot of the Pole Eater's vision. Swish! Swish! Above the Tang sword, the brilliant blue sword light flickered, as if cutting through the void, suddenly flashing. Bayuekue cut off the 2 legs of the Pole Eater cleanly. With the addition of the previous leg, the Pole Eater had already lost 3 legs on one side, directly lost its balance, and fell to the ground. Bang! Its huge body splashed with snow, mixed with green blood, smelled and steamed green mist. It's disgusting. Meantime, Bayuekue's voice also came from the battle. This Pole Eater belongs to the undead Xiaochang. Just cut off its head. The body is not even safe. You need to cut off all its moving limbs, lest it recur and raid again. After hearing these words, Suban said in a calm tone, I know, you should be careful not to be choked by these green liquids. If the beheading cannot be solved, it is easy to do, and it is just a matter of burning it completely. Suban's tone was so unsalty that it even made Bayuekue in the battle angry again. Damn it. I have worked hard in battle, telling you the important information I had before. Why do you still seem to feel very disdainful? Episode 55 for Suban, Furious White Moon Kue, Desperately Exploding Hammer-Devouring Pole Beast. Of course, in the face of Suban's words, Bayuekue only slightly complained in his heart. She quickly thought to herself, but okay. What Suban said is also reasonable. Who made him play with fire? Dealing with these tenacious life force, it is indeed possible to burn it at once. Bayuekue quickly calmed down and began to fight. She jumped from the side of the lizard-like Pole Eater's missing leg, spun around in the air a few times, and came to the other side of the Pole Eater's body. Meanwhile, he also swung a knife in the air. Boom! Bayuekue, a woman with a weak appearance, slashed down with a knife, and even with the momentum of a landslide. Burst! The tail of the Pole Eater snapped in response, and blood spurted wildly. Affected by this injury, the Pole Eater was constantly rolling in pain, and wanted to desperately attack everything around it, sweeping the White Moon Kue away with its huge body. However, Bayuekue still looked for flaws, dodged the attack from the gap in the huge body of the Pole Eater, and swung several knives again. The 3 legs on the other side of the Pole Eater were also completely cut off, and the blood immediately rushed. The Pole Eater lost all of its legs, almost half crippled, and could only use its abdominal strength to jump up and down. Bayuekue quickly took up his knife and slashed the main body of the Pole Eater into several sections, finally making it completely unable to move. Subsequently, Bayuekue also issued a final slash, splitting the head of the Pole Eater from top to bottom, splitting it in 2. The whole process is flowing, extremely smooth, making people feel like watching the cow of Ding Ding, which is extremely pleasing to the eye. Now, face Bayuekue's Tianqiu performance. The Dragon Kingdom audience was dumbfounded again. Sure enough, our little sister Bayuekue is still so powerful, it's so good-looking, and it's so strong, I can't think of any shortcomings. I can watch this battle 100 times without getting tired. It's much cooler than the Lighthouse blockbuster or something. The fight scenes in other countries are simply too ugly, there is no sense of beauty, all the props and skills are put in one piece, and they are weak. Either you can only rely on foreign objects to fight, and summon all the fierce beasts, it is simply not interesting. What's better than those of us who fight with our own abilities? Foreign men are not good at all, compared to the women of our dragon country. Don't be exalted anymore, it's still the men of our dragon kingdom who are the most grandfathers. At this time, the audience of the dragon kingdom is bursting with national pride. On the screen, Bayuekue turned around heroically. Looking at Suban's eyes, there was also a hint of pride. Although Bayuekue had swung his sword in the battle just now, there were many more times than when he had previously fought the sea-level fierce beast. However, after all, it is a B-level fierce beast with tenacious vitality, so it is understandable that she cut it a few more times. Bayuekue had just turned his head, and before he could carefully observe Suban's reaction, he heard a strange noise behind him. Streaming down. Mutation regeneration. The originally dead Pole Eater. Oh no, it should be said that the fragments of the Pole Eater actually began to move again. Several of the Pole Eater's broken legs quickly crawled and swept towards Bayuekue. The silver glow flashing in the claws was even more chilling. Other parts of the Pole Eater's body also rushed over with biological instincts. Although there was no combat effectiveness, it was also necessary to block the road of Bayuekue. The most daunting thing is the severed head of the Pole Eater. He was even able to continue to jump towards where Bayuekue was. The two halves of the head, each with an eye, an ear, a tentacle, half a mouth, and half a nose, looked incomparably vicious and terrifying. It was staring at Bayuekue deadly, its eyes flashing with madness. It was as if he wanted to die at all costs, with Bayuekue. Bayuekue saw the situation, and it was too late to observe Suban's expression, and quickly turned his head, with a solemn face. This Pole Eater is really difficult. Compared to the one above the blue star, it is much stronger. At the same time, Suban's faint voice also came over. Yes, you at least told me that after cutting so many parts, he can still act, which also provides a little intelligence value. Bayuekue. Originally seeing this Pole Eater fighting again, Bayuekue, who was only a little surprised in his heart, was even more blushing after hearing Suban's heartfelt words. Didn't you just encounter a little accident? It was as if I had no use for anything. The big deal is to continue to solve these pieces. Bayuekue raised an eyebrow, ready to solve it completely. After seeing this scene, the audience of the dragon country was also shocked. Oh my god, this guy is also too tenacious. Cut into so many pieces, you can still move, is this more powerful than earthworms? It seems that Suban still has to take a shot, and it is easy to directly burn it. Bayuekue's cold weapon is really a bit tricky, I can't always cut it into more than 100 pieces, how tired it is. Calm down, after all, it is also a B-class fierce beast. In the previous phase of B-level fierce beasts, the Europa League was very embarrassed. Bayuekue is still not afraid at all, at most it is just a little more effort. Bayuekue no longer kept his hand at this time. She held the tang knife in her hand, jumped up, and then fell from a high altitude. At the same time, her knife was facing downwards, and with 1,000 momentum, she smashed down hard. The Pole Eater instinctively panicked and tried to dodge Bayuekue's attack. However, Bayuekue's speed was extremely fast, almost in the blink of an eye, Tang Dao burst out an extremely strong energy light wave, with the momentum of destroying the decay, completely tearing the Pole Eater to pieces and destroying it. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion sounded. Only to see the back of Bayuekue's knife smashed down, and several fragments of the Pole Eater's body shook into powder and sputtered everywhere. The remnants of the Pole Eater beast, which were not affected by Bayuekue's attack, also flew out at the same time. Above the ice, cobweb-like cracks stretch out densely. The snow shot out sharply, hitting the Pole Eater next to it, even making it secretly painful. As for Suban, he continued to stand idly by, and the expression on his face was still unhappy. This moment, the Dragon Kingdom audience was shocked to see their scalps tingle again. Haha. It's awesome. Use sharp objects as if they were blunt. Miss Bayuekue, cutting this Pole Eater into so many pieces, can't solve it yet. Okay, then I'll just smash you to pieces. Suddenly I really want to see the scene of Bayuekue fighting with a hammer, that picture is so beautiful, I really can't imagine, haha. Didn't the Europa League still subdue the B-class beast? Don't you still think you're very powerful? Look at how vulnerable it will be in front of our white moonka. Cut that stinky snake into pieces, and go to the bar. Followed by. In the middle of the picture. Bayuekue's eyes were sharp, and he continued to raise his sword in his hand, as if carrying a heavy hammer, and quickly smashed the other body fragments of the pole eater, flat. Rumble. 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 The pole eater had completely turned into thousands of fragments, and there was no way to resurrect it. Followed by the sound of the Forbidden Land finally sounded. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player by Uekue for successfully slaying the B-level Fierce Beast Pole Eater. Dragon won 3 times the reward of 5,000 points, and a total of 15,000 points were awarded. Seeing this, Suban also nodded reluctantly to Uekue. Yes, not bad, but it would be better if it were a little faster. That's right. There are several pole eaters again, can you? Don't get tired. Uekue just wiped a few drops of blood from his face and said calmly, rest assured, I won't be tired. After Uekue passed the warm-up, he was full of morale and momentum. Dealing with this difficult little strong B-class beast, she spent a little more time next, and she had to make a quick decision. She continued to engage in fierce battles with the remaining pole eaters. At this time, Dragon Country Live Room. The Dragon Kingdom people once again reveled in Uekue's peerless appearance and the fighting style, which could be said to be eye-catching. At this time, they all said, this lizard-like pole eater is already in such trouble, and other pole eaters will definitely have to go through a hard battle. Miss Uekue, come on, you must correct Suban's name. Haha, without Suban, it is estimated that Uekue would not be so desperate. Haha, seeing Uekue's serious expression at this time, she really has to work hard, and she definitely doesn't want to be disliked by Suban anymore. No way, the strong are so troublesome. Everyone in our dragon country is like a dragon, and it is not easy to stand out. Foreigners can only envy, haha. In fact, Miss Uekue is already very powerful, but she has been spat at a lot by people like Suban, and we even feel that there are problems if we don't kill a fierce beast in a second, haha. Foreigner. People in other countries also have mixed feelings at this time. Comparing the Dragon Kingdom and looking at our players, I feel that my low blood pressure will be cured. In our country, Uekue will definitely become a mainstay and carry the whole field, but in their dragon country, they have fallen to such a point of being disliked, it is really speechless. If our player becomes Suban's teammate, then Suban will vomit blood even more. People in our country don't have to fight, it's too late to run. On the screen, Uekue was now preparing to face a Triceratops-like pole eater. At the same time, there were also several pole eaters next to them. Uekue calmly fought while saying, Suban. The one in front of me is a genetically mutated, extremely hard pole eater. Its weakness is at the junction of the head and back. Of course, this is only a relatively weak part. Suban, oh, Uekue. Uekue didn't have time to say anything more. The Triceratops pole eater was already holding up to several meters of horns, with a forward posture, crashing into Uekue. It is 3 or 4 stories high, about 20 meters long, covered with bone armor on the outside, and the cold light is cold. If you can't dodge it, you will be crushed to pieces. And because of the rapidity of its impact and the huge size, its body also carries a faint energy shock wave. It was as if forming a wall, which could knock all the objects near the body more than 10 meters away. Even if it dodged the direct impact of its body, it might be overturned by this energy wave. It is indeed an extremely tricky beast. Enter. Episode 56, thanks Suban. Dragon Nation people are extraordinary. Completely beyond humanity. Now. In the face of such a terrifying B-level fierce beast, Uekue was still very cloudy and breezy. She first dodged and then jumped directly above the 3-headed dragon devouring beast's head, and Uekue also looked at the energy waves it set off. After many increases in physical attributes, she really already has an extraordinary body. When he reached the junction between the head and the back of the pole eater, Uekue's tang sword in his hand shone brightly, and he slashed it down with his sword. Although this pole eater was huge, it could still sense the danger above its head in time. So the next moment, it directly tried its best to stop its body, and raised its head to protect its weakness, but it still couldn't stop Uekue's attack. Uekue's Tang Dao shot out a faint sword chi, and with a speed that was almost invisible to the naked eye, it suddenly swung out 2 knives. A knife slashed at the top of the pole eater's head, causing it to emit a terrible roar. A knife continued to slash at the weakness of the neck of the pole eater. Sonorous. At the place of impact, Tang Dao's sword chi condensed into substance and burst into bloom. Boom. From the pole eater's body, the sound of steel bursting suddenly sounded, and its solid bone armor exploded and disintegrated everywhere. An earth-shaking roar, carrying waves of terror, slammed into the surroundings. The head of the huge, steel-strong pole eater beast slammed into the ground and the national transport was forbidden. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Bayue for successfully slaying the B-level Fierce Beast Pole Eater again. Dragon Kingdom once again awards 15,000 points. During the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast, the crowd was once again in an uproar. Lying in the grooves, such a hard pole eater was cut open at once. I felt like listening to this sound, it was as hard as steel. I think it's all like diamond, but no matter how hard it is so vulnerable in front of Bayue, haha. I reckon that even if the Lighthouse Nation were to send out all its mechs, it would be easily cut to pieces by Bayue. Talk and talk. The crowd was still rationally analyzing the strength of these pole eaters. This polar eater is a real dish. In terms of speed, it was completely inferior to Bayue, and the defense could not block Bayue's attack. Then they still have a ghost. I am worried about these B-level beasts. This defensive pole eater is not as strong as the one with tenacious vitality before, haha. After all, no matter how hard the appearance is, it is a one-size-fits-all solution for Miss Bayue. It is estimated that these fierce beasts will have to fill up their strength and speed in order to have a way to target Bayue. It is estimated that what can cause trouble to Miss Bayue is only the number of them. Haha, if there are hundreds of heads, you may be able to barely fight for it, so that Bayue will die of exhaustion. Pole eater, everyone upstairs, take the bamboo shoots. In the live broadcast room, the Dragon Kingdom people are all playing with the pole eater. The B-class fierce beast that is invincible in the eyes of players from other countries is like a clown in front of the players of the Dragon Country. In the Battle of the National Fortunes program. For more free Falu novels, https://discord.gg/bpy8hmhp. Bing Bing looked at Bayueku's outstanding heroism at this time, and he was extremely surprised. Even as a girl, she couldn't help but be attracted by Bayu's temperament of not letting her eyebrows be raised. Even girls will have heroic dreams, hoping to become heroes like Suban and Bayue. Bing Bing was engrossed, staring at Bayueku's wonderful battle. Unconsciously, even the eyes are very dry, and I don't want to blink my eyes, because Bayueku's battle is indeed too wonderful. I don't want to miss a minute or a second. After Bayue killed a B-level beast again, Bing Bing began to sigh with emotion, hosting the program. Distinguished guests, I don't know how you evaluate Bayueku's fight process at this time. Why do I feel as mediocre as I used to? Whether it's a player or a beast, the speed and skill are similar. I don't know if this is my delusion. At this time, Special Forces Soldier Wang Yan broke the mountain eyes to look at Bayueku's performance. His eyes were hard to hide his admiration, and he smiled and said, haha, there is such a feeling. It is not surprising. Who let Bayueku's battle from beginning to end is so relaxed and comfortable, so we don't need to worry about him much. But I have to admit that the intensity of their battle is getting more and more intense and escalating. Bayueku's physical quality at this time is also obviously much stronger than before. Bing Bing said to himself a little doubtfully, oh, is it? I felt as if there was no difference, and even felt that this B-level fierce beast was weird, but it was not much stronger in terms of combat strength. At this time, countless foreign audiences are speaking at this time. Sleeper, are you not dazzled by it? I usually play 3D game Thief easily, but now I look dizzy. And I have to hear the sound of the Dragon Nation's people constantly slaughtering fierce beasts, which makes me even more upset. How can the players of our country not be able to do it? As soon as I looked at these B-level fierce beasts, I felt that he was similar to the 10,000 snakes fighting between our Europa League. They were extremely powerful. Just pay attention to the perspective of these fierce beasts. I feel oppressive, and your Dragon Kingdom players don't care at all. You still say that it's no different from the beasts of the past, is it in Versailles? Have you Dragon Kingdom people learned so badly? You're all dizzy. Maybe we all have to worry about the Dragon Kingdom being killed at any time? Are you still touching your conscience? At this time, foreigners are full of complaints. It can even be said that it is an incompetent rage. However, at this time, Zhang Zhaozhong of the war situation came out to explain. In the face of these foreigners' doubts, I guess it must be related to the previous increase in our Dragon Nation. After many national luck feedback from Suban and other players, we Dragon people are no longer ordinary human beings at this time. The quality of all people has been strengthened as never before, whether it is speed, strength, vitality, or intelligence, as well as the dynamic vision of the eyes, they are greatly enhanced. So foreigners look dazzling in battle, and we look like we can barely keep up. The words of the bureau seat awaken the dreamer with a word. After many increases in physical attributes, the quality of the people of the Dragon Kingdom has indeed reached its peak. The Dragon Nation people stood up completely. Deservedly standing among the nations of the world. In terms of the performance of the national embargo, other countries are far from their players. So next, everyone spoke excitedly. What the Bureau said is not wrong. I said no wonder we have all watched the live broadcast of the national transport embargo for so long, and have been staying up all night, and there is no sign of sleepiness at all. Yes, now that I have seen 5 a.m., I still feel very energetic, and my eyes are not dry at all, which must be related to the reinforcement given to us before Suban. Haha, our Dragon Kingdom is indeed like a dragon. It's like Reiki revival, only we in the Dragon Kingdom have it. How do you foreigners compare? Ha ha ha, hurry up and come to our country. Lest I and you are no longer dimensional figures. Although in the past I admitted that everyone is equal, but at this time, everyone has strengthened so much, it is true that it is not the same species as you, haha. Thanks to Suban and the others. I hope that I can get 1% of Suban's achievement in the future, and I will be satisfied. Haha, Reiki has recovered, I must become a top strong person like Suban. Woohoo! I want to become a strong woman like Miss Bayuekue, so that I can be qualified to talk to Suban. Countless people worship Bayuekue and Suban to the extreme. At this time, more and more Dragon Kingdom people began to appear and speak. Show off desperately to foreigners. I've already tested it, and I can see a bird from 1 kilometer away, like a human eagle's eye. Even I, an ordinary person, am so strong, let alone a soldier in our army. With their physical qualities, there is no problem in beating you up. If the Olympic Games were held now, the Dragon Kingdom would have monopolized almost all the awards, without any exaggeration at all. Haha, this national fortune feedback of the large reward enhancement is really wonderful, there is absolutely no way to understand. It's no exaggeration to say that it's ethereal. Seeing the sharing and surprise sounds of the dragon people one after another, foreign audiences were completely dumbfounded. Is this the gap between them and the Dragon Kingdom? Just now, when their own players received rewards, they more or less also received great feedback because of this, but compared with what the Dragon Kingdom people described at this time, it was simply a dime, so when will they be able to catch up with the quality of the Dragon Country people? Can you only wait for the people of the Europa Alliance to destroy the Dragon Nation? Wrong. In fact, now, whether it can really destroy the Dragon Kingdom players is really a problem. Could it be that the racial identity that he was proud of had to be completely left behind by the Dragon Kingdom? The red eyes make them look ugly. So at this time, in the major forums of foreign countries, the discussion of immigration can be said to be endless. The door of the immigration office was even stepped on. Foreign high-level officials are very helpless, and some can even promulgate corresponding policies to restrict the movement of citizens. Otherwise, more and more people will really dislike their country. I wish I had come to the arms of the Dragon Kingdom soon. The top brass has tried everything possible and exhausted all kinds of propaganda strategies to tell everyone. The Europa Alliance, as well as the Beacon Nation as a beacon of human civilization, will sooner or later lead the players of all countries to completely solve the Dragon Nation players. Don't worry. You must have faith in your country. Of course, their practices still cannot restrain the foolishness of their own citizens. And at this time, the other side. Hearing that Suban had killed 2 B-level fierce beasts so quickly, the Lighthouse Nation players were all frowning. They began to bow their heads and humbly inquire about the Nine Tails. Dear Nine-Tailed Lord, how does your strength compare to these high-level fierce beasts? I know you're definitely stronger than the B-level beasts that Dragon Kingdom players killed, so I don't know that compared to the A-level beasts, there are also S-level beasts, so what? After hearing these words, Nine-Tails snorted coldly and said dismissively, what about S-class? Uncle Ben's heyday strength is definitely stronger than the S-level. Dragon Country players, not worth mentioning. The voice of the Nine Tails is like a flood bell, constantly reverberating in this battlefield. The sound alone has already made mortals such as the Lighthouse players extremely afraid. Episode 57 Mysterious Human-Shaped Pole Eater. Bayuekue actually cupping in public. At this time, after hearing the assurance of the nine-tailed demon fox, George and Bryce quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, well, it seems that our Lighthouse Nation is the most powerful country in the national embargo at this time. Dragon Country players can never compare with us. With a flick of the tail, the nine-tailed lord will definitely be able to smash them to death. At this time, George and Bryce are once again full of honey confidence in the strength of the Lighthouse Nation. Wait. Sooner or later, with the help of the nine-tailed demon fox, the Lighthouse Nation will bloodily abuse Suban and others. And at this time, Bayuekue was still in a fierce battle. Seeing Bayuekue's successive killings, countless Pole Eater companions quickly came and roared to fight with Bayuekue. After becoming familiar with these Pole Eaters, Bayuekue's attacks became more and more fierce and difficult to resist. As long as the White Moon Kue finds a flaw, then what awaits the Pole Eater will be a deadly machete. Congratulations to Dragon Country player by Uekue for successfully slaying the B-level fierce beast, the Pole Eater beast again. Dragon Kingdom once again rewards 15,000 points. Dragon Kingdom player by Uekue once again successfully killed the B-level fierce beast, the Pole Eater beast. Dragon Kingdom continues to reward 15,000 points. At this time, Uekue has transformed into a ruthless brushing machine. It even gives the audience that feeling. What Uekue did was something familiar, to the point of being bored. It's like an assembly line. Solving these B-level fierce beasts, it doesn't take much effort at all. It is not even an exaggeration to say that Uekue was a little tired of the battle at this time, and the Dragon Kingdom audience all spoke happily, haha. It started again. Our Dragon Nation players have a unique Peerless Harvest mode, a few knives and a B-class fierce beast. Who else can be 31 stronger than us? Come on. Miss Uekue. Continue to tyrannically abuse these beasts and gain more points. People who don't know, they still think we're dealing with some kind of little miscellaneous soldiers, who can imagine that these fierce beasts are all violent B-level fierce beasts. They will continue to die. I think it's incredible. It is estimated that if it were not for the so-called Berserk Warzone mode, they would have been scared away by the bravery of Uekue and others. Haha, Suban said, after a few hits, you all ran away. That really bored me. The crowd even felt. Looking at the screen in the Dragon's live broadcast room, there is not much meaning. Or the barrage area is more interesting. Invincible is really too lonely, it's all crushing, and even I'm numb to the sight. Or watch the Battle of the Europas, then be afraid. When they fight the B-class beasts, that's a wonderful battle. Worry about when they're going to get into trouble. Ha ha ha, the Europa people said it was very good. Foreigner. At this time, foreigners are unwilling to accept such a scene. Damn it. The B-level fierce beast 10,000 snakes that they had worked so hard to kill could not last long in front of the Dragon Kingdom players at this time. This makes them feel terrible. Even if all of them were gathered together, would they really pose much of a threat to Suban's people? Without ambushing, or using any sinister means, it is really difficult to cause much harm to Suban. Although in the battle just now, some countries may have hidden their secrets and did not use the strongest means. Most of the players who died were relatively weak, with a population of only a few million. But even if the great powers used the strongest bottom cards, there was no way to directly destroy the B-level fierce beasts like Suban and Uekue, right? People are more popular than dead. Meantime, among the high-ranking members of the Dragon Kingdom, countless scientists have conducted in-depth research on the pictures of Suban and others. They all complained about their work at this time. Alas, this lion-like B-class beast was solved so quickly? I haven't had time to study it yet. It seems that I can only watch a few more replays. This snake-like Pole Eater, and our player Uekue, the speed is also too fast. If it is not wrong to see the time displayed by the machine, I would think that the video has accelerated. It took me a few hours to roughly analyze the data of the previous sea-level fierce beasts, and you told me that it is not needed now. They all started fighting B-class beasts. It's alright, Xiao Wang, your data will not be wasted, we can sell it to foreigners at a high price, haha. Anyway, it's all information that we Dragon Kingdom players don't need. At this time, scientists are secretly amused by their work. Originally, they were also worried, working overtime and desperately staying up late, synthesizing the scenes in the live broadcast rooms of various countries, and analyzing the intelligence of E-level and D-level fierce beasts as soon as possible. Also worried about the safety of bases like Uekue, killing Matt like Suban, and people like Pillar and Uzumaki. They were afraid that they would be completely annihilated and the Dragon Kingdom would suffer heavy losses. But now it seems that they are really worried. After seeing Uekue and others continue to easily solve the fierce beast, the scientists became more and more numb. For the first time I felt so superfluous. Even when it comes to working, there is not much motivation anymore. For example, in the picture at this time. In the course of the battle, every time he encountered a relatively new Pole Eater, Uekue was still accustomed to detailing the situation to Suban. Suban, this is the most beastly Pole Eater, and when you encounter it, you must be prepared for direct combat. The toad looked like a Pole Eater that could attack from a distance, and it needed to charge before the long-range attack, and as long as it hit his red vocal sac while it was charging, it could interrupt the Pole Eater's charge. Suban was still expressionless. Oh. The voice just dropped. Shout. Uekue directly threw the sheath out of the sword, interrupting the charge of the Pole Eater. Boom. The Pole Eater's hard-earned effort to almost complete the charge was interrupted by a hard time. My heart was extremely depressed. However, it doesn't have much time to hold back. Because Bayuekue had already swept his body and rushed to where it was. The Tangdao in his hand shone brightly again. It was like a magnificent blue light, crossing an arc from the sky. Swish. Another pole eater, killed on the spot. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Bayuekue for successfully slaying the B-class beast again. Dragon Kingdom once again awards 15,000 points. Meanwhile, the Dragon Kingdom scientists in the real world were once again speechless. Here we go again. Such detailed intelligence again. This Bayuekue seems to know all about these pole eaters. What research do we do? Just listen to her say it directly? Is she a scientist or am I a scientist? I might as well analyze the foreign players, watch the video in their live broadcast room, and see how their strength is different from ours. Many scientists have also switched their perspective to players from other countries. Look and watch. Some people even pounced and laughed. Oh, this self-proclaimed Gaulish chicken countryman, really hot eyes, I don't know, I thought this is a slow broadcast, and the comparison with our country is simply a world of difference. Seeing that Bayuekue has beaten so many B-level fierce beasts, I feel that I can easily solve these garbage fierce beasts. These foreign players are really useless. Indeed. We are now dragon people have received national luck feedback, maybe physical fitness, has been much stronger than these foreign elite players, ha. Even we scientists are not mortals without the power of chickens. Scientists at this time, after the national fortunes of Suban and others, gave back. In addition to the sharp increase in intelligence, I feel that everyone can transform into a Nobel Prize level scientist, and the physical fitness and other qualities are also rapidly improving. For long-term high-intensity scientific research, it is also extremely useful. It is estimated that after several days and nights of continuous struggle, they can bear it. Therefore, it is only natural that they are so grateful to Suban and other Dragon Country players. And after that, Bayuekue in the picture is still starting the battle in the peerless mode. Of course, these B-level beasts were still much more powerful than the C-level beasts after all, so Bayuekue couldn't be too careless. When seeing a strange pole eater, you also need to be cautious, in case this pole eater has any unknown means. Although she was eager to prove her strength to Suban, the most basic caution could not be forgotten. And at this time, two majestic, four-legged pole eaters began to surround the White Moon Kue. Behind him, there were more pole eaters all staring at Bayuekue. In fact, if it weren't for the fact that the size of the pole eater was too large and it was inconvenient for all of them to besiege at the same time, it was estimated that Bayuekue would have to face more than a dozen pole eaters at the same time. Therefore, the pressure of Bayuekue was not as great as imagined. Now, when Bayuekue saw these two pole eaters, he immediately sighed. She began to look closely at the two pole eaters, and it felt as if something was wrong. Suban began to ask, "What's wrong? Is there anything special about them?" Bayuekue immediately replied, "From them, I sensed that they were different from other pole eaters, and they seemed to retain a little bit of spiritual wisdom, and they could even be said to be human." J. Not like an irrational beast, Suban heard the words and was also a little curious. Is there such a thing? He began to write the eye of the wheel with his own eternal kaleidoscope to observe them. It was found that these two pole eaters were indeed incompatible with other pole eaters. However, because Suban was also not familiar with this forbidden creature that he had never seen before, he had no way to see the clues immediately. After some thought, Bayuekue immediately took out two fire can-like things from his backpack. Suban asked a little amusedly, "What do you want to do? Cupping for them?" Bayuekue nodded seriously, "There is nothing wrong with that. I'm going to try to deal with these pole eaters in a different way. Because they may." Before Bayuekue could finish speaking, a pole eater beast had already kicked on its hind legs and its body shot out. The target is directly at Bayuekue. Bayuekue didn't have time to say much, directly holding the Tangdao and plunging it into the ground. Rumble. She had just the right timing. The pole eater's front legs had just landed from the jumping state, and they were just inserted by Bayuekue and roared. The pole eater was in excruciating pain, and it roared furiously. The sound seems to be able to break through the speed of sound, making a great sound exposure. Ordinary people hear such a sound up close, and their ears will definitely buzz, even briefly deaf. Episode 58, Suban was forced to strike. Eternal kaleidoscope writing will-I shocks the world. Of course, in the face of the lion roar of this pole-eating beast, Bayuekue, who had excellent physical fitness, would not put it in his eyes. She looked at the pole-eating beast at close range, her eyes fluttering with disappointment. This pole eater just wanted to attack Bayuekue, but found that he couldn't move. Because Bayuekue's Tang Dao was deeply inserted into the ground, only the handle of the knife was barely exposed. Roar. The pole eater, who has lost his freedom, roars wildly again. With the help of Tang Dao's kung fu of imprisoning the pole eater, Bayuekue jumped up and prepared to place the fire canister in his hand on the back of the pole eater. This is to absorb the filthy substances inside the pole eater. Bayuekue mastered an ancient oriental medicine. As long as this pole eater is opened up and the blood is unclogged, it is possible to restore its original appearance. However, before Bayuekue could set the fire canister, another pole eater suddenly attacked. So, the speed is as fast as a dragon, and it can even bring a sharp and piercing sound of breaking the air. Like the majestic pole eater fixed by Tang Dao, it was a pole eater with a vague human trait, with a relatively thin body and extremely fast speed. Bayuekue could only dodge, temporarily avoiding his attack, and then looking for an opportunity to cup the fire. Now, the majestic human-type pole eater, which was fixed by the White Moon Kuei Tang Dao, began to struggle desperately. Roar, roar. But this majestic human-type pole eater couldn't pull out the Tang sword, but just roared in incompetence. Bayuekue's Tang Dao was flashing a mysterious blue light, as if carrying the mysterious charm of the ancient country of the East, and at the same time combined with the strange beauty of doomsday technology. A knife that seems to be light and fluttering, but it is firmly fixed to the ground, as if it has taken root. The majestic pole eater who could not move, simply smashed his other hands into the White Moon Kuei Bayuekue Xiaomei, directly stretched out his slender and beautiful legs, and collided with the fists and feet of the majestic pole eater beast. Bang! To the horror of the entire audience. Such a huge, human-type pole eater could not even stop Bayuekue's slim woman's kick. The majestic, human-type pole eater was directly knocked out. However, because his hand was still fixed by the Tang Dao inserted into the ground, the momentum of the blow could only be transformed into a rotational momentum. Phew! Its huge body was directly centered on the Tang Dao, spinning rapidly for several weeks. It looks ridiculous. The Dragon Kingdom audience also laughed out their teeth when they were secretly amazed. Haha, laugh and cry me, this 10-meter-long pole eater was actually beaten into a carousel. What a magic circle of love. I didn't expect Miss Bayuekue to be so good. Relying on your own physical strength alone, you can beat this large pole eater into a small dish. It's just the most cute and poor body shape. This White Moon quill doesn't have the weight of a pole eater's hand, and it can contain such a terrifying power. This terrible little sister, I don't know which man can restrain her. Haha, sure enough, it's not Suban. While the audience was amazed at Bayuekue, they also began to think about the significance of Bayuekue's actions. Miss Bayuekue, it seems that you really want to cup this pole eater beast. Is it to torture the pole eater in a fancy way? Bayuekue shouldn't be so boring, he must have had his own deep meaning, right? Meanwhile, in the scientific research departments of various countries, countless scientists are also puzzled. Bayuekue of the Dragon Kingdom definitely wants to study something, otherwise, she would have been able to solve this pole eater long ago. It's as if she's going to catch the beast alive, and she can't be too rude to him. Just like Merlin, the John Cow country magician before, he wants to tame this fierce beast. Can humans really do something like this? However, Bayuekue's origin is so mysterious, and he still knows a lot about this pole eater, so there should be some special means. In that case, the Dragon Kingdom will indeed increase its extremely strong combat effectiveness. Just being a White Moon Kuei already has endless secrets. Not to mention that there are Suban and other people who can really cultivate immortals. At this time, scientists are full of emotions. After an analysis of Suban et al., many of theories that used to be in the scientific community have also begun to be completely subverted. Suban and others who had reached the cultivation immortal realm had no way to explain it with science. It's even much more powerful than the people on the tech side. Only the Dragon Kingdom scientists could be extremely at ease at this time. Fortunately, Suban and others are Dragon Country players. Dragon Country has such a player, it is extremely lucky. In the embargo, at a time when the Dragon Nation people were amazed, Bayuekue also continued to seize the opportunity to do it. She jumped behind the majestic human-shaped pole eater and began to do something to it. The pole eater, who had just been turned into a dizzy state, immediately threw his back desperately, trying to throw Bayuekue away. But Bayuekue was still walking on the ground, as if he were a person who had nothing to do. The body does not move. The expression is still heroic and refreshing, incomparably indifferent. Compared with ordinary people standing on the road and crossing the road, they are much calmer and more stable. In the midst of this chaotic scene, Bayuekue also lit a fire stick and then lit the fire canister. Get ready to cup the fire for this majestic, human-type pole eater. But at this time, another skinny little human-type pole eater still didn't stick to it, and it was difficult to whiz again. It shot out with lightning speed, and its claws stabbed at Bayuekue. Bayuekue, who was making a fire pot, glanced at this pole-eating beast unhappily, then raised his legs and directly kicked it away for tens of meters. Even if it is this majestic human-type pole-eating beast, Bayuekue can use his flesh to fight it, not to mention the skinny little human-type pole-eating beast. Boom! This skinny pole-eater fell obliquely to the ground. Glide a long distance on the ice, plow out a deep ravine, and then slowly stop. Bayuekue seized the opportunity and quickly placed the fire canister into the back of this majestic, human-shaped pole-eater. Also activate the Ken switch. Shout. Only to see a thin blue needle suddenly shoot into the back of the pole-eater. At the same time, the entire fire pot was also covered with azure spells, as if some mysterious ritual had been initiated. The blue light is brilliant and dazzling. After seeing this scene, the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room was generally exploded. Sleeper. This thing seems to be some kind of mysterious technology. It also seems that our Dragon Kingdom has long been lost. It's really hard to imagine that such a small needle can penetrate into the shell of this incomparably hard pole-eater. Our modern weapons can't explode with such power. Ah, you see, this fire pot seems to have pulled out a lot of black matter. How does this work? It won't really cup the flames of this pole-eater. I really envy this pole-eater, and I would love to get such treatment from him. That's cool, isn't it? There is someone like Bayuekue, give me cupping, I can laugh out loud in my dreams. However, the pole-eater in the picture did not have any pleasant appearance at all, but wailed. Even if it was just a little blood, it made him miserable. He could only pull out the Tang Dao on the ground more frantically, trying to get rid of himself quickly. Bayuekue frowned and thought deeply. It seemed that this pole-eater was indeed too big, and there was really no way to suck the black blood for a while and a half. And at this time, the skinny little man-type pole-eater attacked again. Moreover, the other pole-eaters also gathered around, ready to rush directly up. They all saw the significance of Bayuekue's behavior at this time. So it's all thunderous. They would never allow Bayuekue to do this to his companions. Therefore, he didn't care about hurting his companions, and they pounced on each other, trying to shoot Bayuekue into pieces. Seeing this densely packed fierce beast, Bayuekue couldn't help but be a little embarrassed. The Tang Dao was still inserted into the body of this pole-eater, and it couldn't be pulled out for a moment and a half. In addition, his primary goal was to extract the black blood inside the pole-eater and restore his sanity. If the fire canister is destroyed, it is indeed very tricky. Bayuekue could only find a way to delay a little longer, hoping that this black blood would be drawn clean as soon as possible. Bang! 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 In these few seconds, she had kicked off one pole-eater after another, but there was no way to directly inflict fatal damage on it. Therefore, these pole-eaters were all unforgiving, and continued to rush over without fear of death, and even some of them were not Bayuekue, but the pole-eaters at her feet. Boom! A certain pole-eater directly knocked the majestic human-type pole-eater over, and Bayuekue could only descend from the sky and land on the ground. But she quickly returned to where the fire pot was and continued to protect it. In the real world, the audience of the Dragon Kingdom saw this scene and was also very worried about Bayuekue. Oops, Bayuekue seems to be in trouble. It's really rare. Bayuekue really took great care to help this pole-eater cupping beast. What exactly does she want to do? Just when the Dragon Kingdom audience was extremely worried, a familiar voice sounded faintly. It seems that you are still in trouble, so I will do you a favor. Although I don't know what you want to do to this beast. In the midst of this incredibly noisy battlefield, Suban's words, although the volume is very small, clearly passed into the ears of countless people. I don't know what magic this is. It seems to be like the so-called transmission of voices into the secret of martial arts practitioners. Before the audience could question Suban's words, Suban's eternal kaleidoscope wrote the wheel eye and began to bloom. Airplanes. Magic unleashed. Suban, who had been standing by and watching, finally struck at this time. A pole-eater that was facing Suban and was preparing to rush into Bayuekue suddenly shook his body. Subsequently, his eyes also turned into scarlet, bloody, eternal kaleidoscopic riding wheel eyes. In a split second, he was completely controlled by Suban. Although this pole-eater focused on fighting with Bayuekue and had not looked at Suban, as long as the eyes of the two sides could meet together, they could not escape Suban's magic attack. That's the power of the eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye. Originally seeing this rapidly colliding pole-eater, Bayuekue still thought of making countermeasures. As a result, the pole-eating beast ran, and suddenly stopped, with a sluggish face. It's like a magic pool. Seeing the situation, Rao was a well-informed Bayuekue, and he couldn't help but be slightly stunned. And the audience in the live broadcast room set off a fierce wind and waves. What happened? How did these pole-eaters suddenly stop? Could it be Bayuekue's hidden skill? Episode 59 The Writing Wheel I Illusion of the Void. Scientists from all over the world are crazy research. However, in the face of this fixed pole-eater, everyone was still confused at this time. He didn't understand Suban's attack principle at all. But how did Suban strike, if the pole-eater froze? Could it be that there is a point hole? And it's also a hole in the air with internal force, which is also too hanging. Haha, I don't think it's impossible. You see, this Suban is so powerful, and it is that kind of cultivation method, and even spews fire. In other words, in a martial arts novel, it is definitely a high-level character. What is the difficulty of the space point hole? Suban big guy cow beep. It seems that Miss Bayuekue still needs Suban's protection. Haha, the angry Suban big guy, too aggressive. It seems that I am being stared at by the State Road Suban like this, now. In the face of this situation, except for the Dragon Kingdom people, foreigners are completely dumbfounded. Wordfac. This sounds too mysterious and mysterious. Is this the Dragon Kingdom Kung Fu? Is the Dragon Kingdom really that powerful? Too cheating. The previous fire breathing has been very excessive, now it is more exaggerated. Directly let the pole-eater beast cannot move. Too cheating. Who can beat such a guy? Shouldn't he have used some special props? The national embargo does reward the players with all kinds of strange things. Maybe it is really this kind of prop card. Even if the strength of this White Moon Kue is strong, at least it can be understood. But the other Dragon Kingdom players, it's a bit excessive. There are too many of their auxiliary props, and they are spewing fire from their mouths, and countless branches are suddenly emerging. With so many skill cards, when will they be able to use them all? The national embargo is definitely quietly given to them. It is so unfair. At this time, scientists from all over the world were also extremely surprised. As the think tank of the country, of course, they will not simply scold the Dragon Country players for cheating, but will analyze Suban's ability from more angles. Countless people have desperately analyzed the pictures in the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room. Almost frame by frame. Every detail is not to be missed. If we remember correctly, Suban and others have already used similar techniques when fighting low-level fierce beasts. Yes. Compared with the means at this time, it is exactly the same. Did he want this fierce beast to stop, so that he could successfully stop? That's just too unreasonable. And before he uses this skill, it seems that his eyes will turn red. Is this the skill of his eyes? After careful analysis, the scientists discovered more and more details. And think about how to write will eyes for Suban's eternal kaleidoscope. That's right, it should be. When you look closely at the picture, the eyes of the pole-eater have also become exactly the same as Suban's eyes. That's why he was fixed. It's not even a simple fixation, it's a higher level of control. Then this is really the magic eye. It's amazing. If our players fight against this Suban, they will definitely be recruited, and we should come up with a countermeasure. If you want to fight such a person, you must first destroy his eyes, or close your eyes so you don't get caught. It's a pretty good idea, but it doesn't seem to work if you close your eyes and fight. In the face of such a terrifying skill, they couldn't think of any good way to target Suban's pupil technique. It's so buggy, it's almost like the Medusa of our country, although it's not petrified, it's pretty much the same. We'll lose combat effectiveness in an instant. This won't be the so-called superpower, directly freeze time and space. How do we play? At this time, the strategic analysis departments of various countries were extremely jealous of Suban's mysterious ability. They all began to find ways to interpret the mystery. But no matter how they scratch their scalps, they are helpless. Return to the national embargo. Bayuekue in the picture was also extremely surprised at this time. She immediately tilted her head slightly, and saw the strange lines in Suban's eyes at this time. Eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. Bayuekue's heart flashed with electricity. This seems to be a skill that Suban has used before. Directly fixing these fierce beasts, is it the so-called fixation technique? That's a great skill. It feels powerful and unreasonable, much more powerful than cold weapons. Not sure how Suban's ability should work. In this moment of electric flint. Airplanes. Another mighty chakra wave rippled. The particles in the air seemed to vibrate slightly because of this. Only to see that within the line of sight of Suban, next to the pole-eater who had previously been hit by the wheel eye illusion, another pole-eater beast that rushed over was directly controlled. Its body trembled sharply, trying to get rid of Suban's magic control. But this illusion directly acted on its brain, and after being disturbed by the chakra of Suban, its 5 senses began to appear disordered. It's like having a nightmare, but you can't get rid of it. At this moment, although Bayuekue was extremely surprised in his heart. But he also knew that the first task at this time was to complete the blood draw of the black substance of this pole eater. Other questions, let's talk about it later. Although Suban controlled the 2 pole eaters within his line of sight, there were more pole eaters coming from other angles. Moreover, Bayuekue's Tang Dao had already begun to loosen, and the majestic human-type pole eater was about to prepare to regain its freedom. She immediately came to the face of this pole eater, jumped forward, directly one elbow, and hit the pole eater's jaw. Cross. The head of the pole eater rose upwards, and a mouthful of black blood spat into the air. Even the audience in the live broadcast room could hear the dislocation of the mouth joints of the pole eater and the sound of teeth being bitten by themselves. Although the audience is not a pole eater, they also feel that their sense of substitution is extremely strong, and their mouths have begun to appear faintly painful. And when Bayuekue fell, her weak body slammed into the ground, making a landslide-like cracking sound. Boom! The Tang Dao, which had been loosened a little bit after a while, was completely submerged in the ground again. Roar! The pole eater was also in pain again, hissing wildly. But at this time, his mouth joints were dislocated, and he couldn't even make an earth-shaking roar, which looked dull and weak, and sounded unbearable. So. Another 2 pole eaters burst out and attacked Bayuekue's back. Bayuekue didn't even look at it, and directly kicked the majestic human-type pole eater with force. Bang! This majestic human-shaped pole eater once again came in a magic circle of love. And then, bang, directly like a meteor hammer, it knocked the 2-headed pole eater behind Bayuekue away. The strange shouts of these 3 pole eaters sounded at the same time, which made the Dragon Kingdom people laugh crazy. This white moon quill fights monsters, but it's really fun, set after set. Back. Withdraw. Withdraw. The glamorous rays are leaving, in the picture of the national embargo. At this moment, while the majestic human-type pole eater spins wildly. Because of the rapid flow of blood in the body, the speed at which the fire tank absorbs black blood is further accelerated. More and more black blood had already poured out, staining the white and flawless snow into a pitch-black color, and the blood was extremely strange. When the black blood of the majestic human-type pole eater was almost lined up, Bayuekue aimed at the timing and kicked it into the air again. Meantime, Bayuekue's hand began to seal, and constantly slapped on the acupuncture point in front of the pole eater's body. Syllable. Bang. Sound. Bayuekue's hands were as fast as lightning, and they all danced into a series of residual shadows, which made the audience of the Dragon Kingdom dazzled. All over the pole eater's body, various mysterious spell lines also appeared rapidly, and they were constantly switching. Finally, Bayuekue completed all the steps. Moreover, at this moment, another pole eater leaped high, and descended from the sky, with the momentum of Mount Tai's crushing power, and smashed into Bayuekue. The shadow that hung over the white moon quill began to grow bigger and bigger. But Bayuekue was still relieved lightly, not caring about the pole eater above his head at all, just happy for himself to complete the point-hole task. At the same time, she directly picked up the tang knife on the ground with one foot. Boom! The deep-rooted tang knife was as if it were inserted into tofu, and it could be easily brought out by Bayuekue with a gentle touch. Swish! Bayuekue kicked the flying Tang Dao, causing it to dance with the sword flower, spinning at a high speed while flying into the sky. A beautiful and moving arc of sword light cut through the void, as if it could cross the heavens and the earth beautifully and movingly, and at the same time emit an extremely dangerous killing chi. Whoops! A sound like chopping wood sounded. The pole eater in the air had been cut off by Bayuekue directly through. A voice also appeared. National embargo tips. Bayuekue, a player of the Dragon Kingdom, once again successfully killed the B-level Fierce Beast Eater. Dragon Kingdom once again awards 15,000 points. This scene made the Dragon Country people fall into excitement again. Immediately after, Bayuekue also gently pushed, no longer fixed by the Tang Dao's majestic human-type pole eater, and finally able to regain his freedom and take a few steps back. At this time, this pole-eating beast also had a sluggish expression on his face, no longer carrying the fierce spirit of fighting with humans to the end, and there was a lot of confusion. As if thinking about what identity I am at this time. The next moment. Poof. After this pole eater was opened by Bayuekue bloodline, the black blood on its back was already shooting out. At this time, Bayuekue still couldn't see any waves on his face. She didn't look at the pole eater for a moment, and began to jump and shoot backwards behind her. Boom! As soon as Bayuekue left here, the corpse of the slain pole eater in the air fell from the sky. A powerful shockwave also appeared, sweeping in all directions. And all of this seemed to be in Bayuekue's calculations. Bayuekue not only did not get hit, but also used the shockwave to boost his body, spinning quickly and gracefully in the air. With a graceful curve, Bayuekue and the Tang Dao that had drawn the arc before jointly weighed the bones together, holding it in their hands again. Subsequently, with the momentum of falling in the air, Bayuekue swung out a knife again. Swish! Another pole eater was directly split in two by Bayuekue. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Bayuekue. Successfully killed the B-class beast pole eater again. Dragon Kingdom once again awards 15,000 points, beautiful to the extreme. Neat. The whole process of the battle between Suban and Bayuekue made the entire audience fall into madness. Bayuekue's cupping was finally successful. I don't know what will happen next. Episode 60, Hell has no door, you break in? Good. Fire escape, fire lost. The audience in the picture, at this time, are very curious about Bayuekue's cupping move. Suban is also slightly surprised by this, and even muttering to himself. This looks quite familiar. Is it the point of the Hyuga White-Eyed clan? It seems that this Bayuekue is also a bit skilled. However, it is still far worse than the riding wheel that can be used directly remotely and takes effect quickly. Well, her presence is better than talking. None. Fortunately, Bayuekue concentrated on fighting at this time and did not hear what Suban said. Otherwise, you will definitely be angry again. In the real world. Seeing such a thrilling battle scene, the Dragon Kingdom audience once again fired a barrage of bullets in amazement. Wow, it's really handsome, Miss Bayuekue will always drip God. Bayuekue is also very good to this pole eater. It is manicure, cupping, massage, backstomping, bloodletting, orthodontics, orthopedics. This is a dragon service. It really makes me cry with envy. I am willing to become the pole eater at the feet of Miss Bayuekue. While cupping, you can also kill 2 pole eaters, which is really a god. Don't you dare to make a movie like this? It's really cool to be able to use a pole eater as a weapon and use a meteor hammer. Suddenly want to know how heavy Bayuekue really is, can have a strong combat power, should not weigh a ton, haha. Even if it's a ton, it's my wife, and I definitely don't want to give it up. At this time, the people of the Dragon Kingdom all had great admiration for Bayuekue. Especially seeing Bayuekue's fighting style, I was even more surprised to talk about it. This Bayuekue really used the Dragon Kingdom Kung Fu to beat this pole eater beast to vomit blood. I don't know why, I actually faintly heard the sound of screaming, haha. Bayuekue's fight is really too much in line with the charm of our ancient oriental country. Who else would dare to say that we dragon people are sick? In the future, you will all have to speak the Dragon Kingdom dialect and learn the Dragon Kingdom martial arts. Ha ha ha, if we can learn Dragon Country martial arts like her, coupled with the general quality of Reiki revival at this time, then we Dragon Country people can definitely crush the outer circle. Maybe an ordinary passerby can tyrannically abuse the boxing King Tyson, ha ha ha. At this time, the people of the Dragon Kingdom began to think about right and wrong. Even if they only reached the level of Suban and Bayuekue, they could be satisfied. In the national embargo, Suban was still seriously examining the changes in this majestic human-type pole eater. He quickly saw some clues. After this pole eater was served by the White Moon Kue dragon, the inside of its body actually began to surge with spiritual power and physical energy that only humans can possess. Because this is the energy that can create chakra, Suban is very aware of this. Interesting. It seems really interesting. She can't say enough about fighting, but her medical skills are still good. Being a medical ninja seems to be barely useful. However, we don't seem to have anyone here who needs medical skills. If you are between the columns, you should not need it. Oh, yes, if something happens, this Bayuekue is barely useful. Suban said. Over time, the body of the majestic human-type pole eater began to change significantly. Its body began to shrink gradually. The vicious and terrifying, disgusting scales, bone horns, and other fierce beast features on the body also began to gradually disappear. Seeing this scene, countless people were shocked. What happened to this pole eater? It seems that he has really transformed into an adult. This pole eater was originally a human? And was he cured by Bayuekue? Are there still human beings in this national embargo? And soon after, with the rapid squirt of black blood in the body of the majestic human-type pole eater, his appearance began to change rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. The blood that spurted out had begun to cease to be dark and cloudy, and even showed a hint of dark red. This scene shocked the entire audience. This white moon Kuei doesn't seem to be as simple as simply killing a B-level beast. Therefore, scientists from various countries once again carefully analyzed and wanted to find out the purpose of Byakuei's doing so. However, in the face of the unheard-of pole eater on this earth, as well as the mysterious cupping techniques of Byakuei from the east, foreign scientists can only be helpless. And in the Dragon Kingdom, because they are familiar with the traditional culture of the Dragon Kingdom, many people have begun to put forward their own conjectures with a straight face. Some TCM masters have analyzed it this way. Although I don't know what the prototype of this pole eater is, it should look like an intelligent creature, and it is only because it is injected with these black blood that it will become irrational and become such a monster. So what Byakuei did was to restore him to his original state. And in the Battle of the National Fortunes program group, Bing began to throw out one question after another to arouse the audience's thinking and attention. Oh my god! Our player, Byakuei, is doing a very incredible thing at this time. This can be said to be an unheard of existence of the national embargo, which is definitely a very valuable discovery, and will also be of great help to our future exploration of the national embargo. There must be many secrets in this national embargo. For example, why are there so many terrible beasts? What is their origin? What did we humans come to this place to do? It's certainly not as simple as we thought. I don't know what the guests think. Special Forces Soldier Wang Yen said after a moment of deep groaning. Anyway, what we can be sure of is that this is a rare opportunity for our Dragon Kingdom. We have to believe in our Dragon Country players. They will definitely lead our Dragon Kingdom to become stronger. That's right, we Dragon Kingdoms not only want to be the strongest in the earth, but at the same time, we must have a more ambitious goal, and even assume the responsibility of leading the Earthlings. After hearing these words, the audience also echoed, there is no mistake in what you said. We all want to thank Suban and other Dragon Country players for their great achievements. For example, get more resources so that we can feed more people. Let us Dragon Nation people become the most powerful nation, so that we can lead the world to continue to develop and break the shackles of the rules of the earth. The development of the future world depends on us Dragon people. The Dragon Nation people were all bursting with self-confidence at this time. They all feel that they have a very important responsibility on their shoulders. It is also perfectly reasonable to make such a speculation. The old era is over, and the new era will be ruled by the Dragon Kingdom, there is no doubt about it. The birth of players such as Suban, Pillar, Uzumaki, and Byakuei shows that the rise of the Dragon Kingdom will be an unstoppable thing. Of course, how can foreigners, especially foreign high-level propaganda departments, see all this happening? They spoke up one after another to attack the Dragon Nation. How can that be? You are absolutely not qualified to become the ruler of the world, only we, the Lighthouse Nation, are qualified, and our Lighthouse Nation is the beacon that leads the progress of human civilization. If your Dragon Nation becomes stronger, it will only pose a threat to world peace, and it will only be our Lighthouse Nation. Wait, our nine-tailed demon fox, sooner or later will destroy these garbage murderers, as well as you Dragon Kingdom players. At a time when the crowd was arguing fiercely. In the picture, Byakuei continued to attack another human-type pole eater. This pole eater was much thinner than the majestic human pole eater. Byakuei once again took out a fire canister and rushed towards the pole eater beast. Fortunately, at this time, the fierce beasts all went into a state of rage. Therefore, even after seeing Byakuei's previous amazing performance, the skinny little human-type pole eater still rushed over with extreme anger and prepared to fight with Byakuei. Shout! The speed of the skinny little human-type pole eater was also very amazing, and the claws in its hand suddenly exploded into an attack. Bang! A roar exploded. The dark light roared and rose from the hands of the pole eater and swept in all directions. This strange black light rippled in the air with a wave of blazing heat, causing the temperature near Byakuei to rise in a straight line. Byakuei was slightly shocked, he didn't expect that this pole eater beast could even use such a strange black flame. Ordinary people really can't directly touch his flesh. Byakuei didn't think anything of it either, and directly and gracefully jumped to avoid the frontal attack of the pole eater, and then threw it in midair. Bang! Byakuei's Tang Dao penetrated the tail of the pole eater and nailed it to the ground. The handle of the Tang knife once again sank into the ground, making it difficult to pull out. After seeing him repeat the same mistake, the skinny little human-type pole eater was furious and began to scurry around. It seemed to form a compass centered on the Tang Dao, constantly moving its body within a movable range, so as not to be approached by Byakuei. Because the speed of this pole eater was very fast, Byakuei could not easily get close for a while. He could only wander around the beast of the pole eater and wait for the opportunity to install a fire pot for him. when Bayuekue and the skinny little man-type pole eater were fighting. The other side. Where the majestic human-type pole eater is located, a sudden change has taken place. Several pole eaters did not run to attack Bayuekue, but instead looked fierce and pounced on the majestic human pole eater that was shrinking rapidly. They already seemed to know that this majestic, human-shaped pole eater would not be their companion. So at this time, you should be ruthless and kill it directly. Seeing the next movements of these fierce beasts, Suban's face was indifferent. Hey, don't you think you have a chance to move this beast? People, right? It's just a chance for you to survive, but you feel your own life. After speaking, Suban looked at Bayuekue next to him faintly. Bayuekue was still entangled with another pole eater at this time, and she did not expect that the pole eater would be so cruel to her companions. So for a moment and a half, it should not be possible to come to the rescue quickly. Although he didn't know the origin of this human-type pole eater, Suban also knew that he should protect it. Therefore, Suban's hand simply made a mark. Then he looked at these beasts, his eyes cold, and suddenly attacked. Fire escape, the art of fire extinguishing. This is Suban's strongest single fire attack. After gathering chakra in his throat, Suban spat out a huge line of fire towards the ground. Quizzy. This tiny line of fire spread rapidly, directly engulfing the two pole eaters completely. Like the fire of hell, destroy it completely. Suban used the flame attack scene to destroy the world. Shock the world again. It.